Picture this. You're scrolling through your phone at 11 p.m. and you find it, the exact jacket you've been eyeing for 2 months. It's $150. You know you should close the tab. You've told yourself 3 times this week to stop impulse shopping. But then something happens. Your thumb hovers over the checkout button, and right there, in clean, friendly little letters, the screen tells you something that makes the guilt almost completely disappear. It says, pay just $37.50 today. 4 easy payments. No interest. No credit check. Just tap, and it's yours. And here's the thing. Your brain doesn't feel like you're going into debt. It feels like you found a loophole. It feels like a reward you actually earned. The dopamine hits before the package even ships. You tell yourself it's fine because you'll definitely have that $37.50 covered next week. Maybe you'll skip one coffee run. Maybe you'll figure out. You hit confirm. The order goes through, and in that exact moment, not when the bill comes, not when the payment auto-drafts, but in that exact moment when you tap that button, a quiet, invisible trap just clicked shut around your financial future. I'm Dan, and here on Dan the Stock Man, I spend way too much time thinking about money, human psychology, and why some people seem to glide through financial challenges while others are constantly stressed about their bank account balance. If you've ever felt like no matter what you do, you're always one unexpected expense away from a total financial panic, this video is for you. Before we go any further, do me a quick favor. If you want to understand how to break the monthly payment trap and actually start building real wealth instead of just managing an endless pile of tiny bills, hit that subscribe button and tap the like button right now. It tells the algorithm that this kind of content matters, and it helps me keep making videos that nobody in the financial industry actually wants you to see. All right, let's get into it. There is a myth floating around in personal finance circles, and honestly, it's one of the most financially destructive lies that most people have fully internalized as common sense. The myth goes like this. Breaking a big purchase into smaller payments is smart budgeting. It's being responsible. It's using the system to your advantage. Sounds reasonable, right? On the surface, it almost looks like discipline, like you're making calculated decisions instead of just blowing your paycheck all at once. The problem is the math doesn't support it. The psychology doesn't support it. And the data on what's actually happening to American households right now absolutely does not support it. Here's the reality. The average American household is already carrying over $9,000 in credit card debt. That's before you even touch the exploding world of buy now, pay later apps. Services like Afterpay, Klarna, Affirm, and Sezzle have completely normalized the idea that you don't actually need to be able to afford something to buy it today. The entire pitch is built on a single psychological sleight of hand, making something that is genuinely unaffordable look manageable by slicing the price into pieces small enough that your brain stops doing the real math. Think about the way a casino is designed. You walk in, and the first thing they do is take your actual money and exchange it for chips, little colorful plastic discs. And suddenly, the thing you're spending doesn't feel like money anymore. It feels like a game piece. The psychological distance between you and the real value of what you're handing over gets stretched just far enough that your decision-making completely changes. Buy now, pay later is doing the exact same thing, but they're doing it inside your phone on a Wednesday night with a $150 jacket. The financial system isn't broken. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do. It is a machine engineered to extract money from people by making the process of going into debt feel not just painless, but smart. Let me introduce you to someone. Her name is Sarah. Sarah is 29 years old, lives in a mid-sized city, and works hard at a job that pays her right around a national median, roughly $52,000 a year. That works out to about $4,333 a month before taxes. After federal and state withholding, Social Security, and her health insurance premium, she's taking home somewhere around $3,100 to $3,200 a month. That's not a bad income. It's not rich, but it's genuinely solid. Sarah should, in theory, have some financial breathing room. But every single month, she feels like she's clinging to the edge of a cliff. She's not blowing money on vacations or fancy restaurants. She's not irresponsible. She's just stuck, and she cannot figure out why. Here's why. Sarah doesn't have one big debt problem. She has 14 small ones. She has a Klarna plan from last October when she bought new running shoes, $18 a month. She has an Afterpay installment from a winter coat purchase in November, $24 a month for 2 more months. She financed a new pair of wireless earbuds through the brand's website payment plan, $15 a month. She bought concert tickets through a payment option, $22 a month. She put a new desk lamp and some home decor through Sezzle, $12 a month. She's got a monthly installment on a skincare routine she ordered after seeing an ad, $19 a month. There's a clothing subscription that auto-charges $45 a month. She bought her little niece a birthday gift through a split payment option, $9 a month. A gym bag, a portable charger, a set of nice coffee mugs, a bookshelf from a furniture site, each one anywhere from $8 to $31 a month. None of these payments is scary by itself. Not one of them, standing alone, would make Sarah panic. But here's what happens when you actually add them up. And most people never do this because the whole system is designed so that you don't have to. If you total up just those 14 installment plans, Sarah is quietly hemorrhaging around $310 to $340 every single month in a fragmented micro-debt obligations. $340. That's gone before she even consciously registers it. That money is automatically extracted from her account like clockwork, spread across 6 different apps and 3 different checkout portals, so it never feels like a $340 hit. It feels like 14 small inconveniences. But her bank account doesn't care about feelings. Her net worth doesn't care about feelings. The math is the math. And here's where it gets genuinely painful. Sarah is paying rent, utilities, groceries, and gas on top of all this. After all of her fixed obligations and these installment payments, she has maybe $180 to $220 left at the end of the month that's truly discretionary. Not to invest, not to save for an emergency fund, not to put toward anything that builds her future. Just $180 of room to breathe. And the moment her car needs an oil change or her phone screen cracks, she's reaching for another credit card or opening a new payment plan to cover it. This is the trap. Not $150 jackets. Not even bad spending decisions in isolation. The trap is the accumulation of fragmented, invisible drip cash outflows that make it mathematically impossible for you to ever get ahead, no matter how hard you work. Now, I want to talk about something that goes deeper than the math, because the math is only part of what's going on here. The more dangerous part is psychological. And it's something that the companies behind these services have spent hundreds of millions of dollars in behavioral research to get exactly right. There's a concept called the illusion of affordability. And by now, Pay Later has perfected it to an art form. Here's how it works. When you look at a $150 price tag, your brain triggers a real, measurable pain response. Neuroscientists have actually studied this. The insula, the part of your brain associated with physical and social pain, becomes active when you're about to spend a significant amount of money. That pain is healthy. It's a natural brake on your spending impulses. It's your brain's version of a budget committee. But when that $150 gets transformed into 4 payments of $37.50, that pain response is dramatically reduced. The number just doesn't feel significant enough to trigger the alarm. And without that alarm going off, your decision-making process changes completely. This is not a willpower problem. This is not you problem. This is a known, documented feature of how the human brain processes financial decisions. And these companies have deliberately weaponized it. We see the same trick in the car industry, which has been running this playbook for decades. Think about how car salespeople talk. They almost never tell you the total price of the vehicle in the negotiation. They ask you, what monthly payment works for you? Because once they anchor you to a monthly number, let's say $450 a month sounds okay to you, they can stretch the loan from 48 months to 72 months or even 84 months, and suddenly a $32,000 car becomes something you think you can afford at $450 a month. What you're not thinking about is the fact that you just agreed to pay $38,000 by the time you account for interest, and the car will be worth $14,000 by the time you've paid it off. The monthly payment became the entire conversation, and the total cost disappeared into the background. Buy now, pay later does the exact same thing, except the loan terms are shorter and there's usually no interest on the first installment, which makes it feel even more innocent, even more like a no-brainer. The product is designed to feel like it doesn't have a downside, which is precisely what makes it so dangerous. And there's one more layer here that I don't hear people talk about enough, and it might actually be the most damaging part of this whole equation. It's called decision fatigue. Every active financial obligation you carry takes up mental bandwidth. Every time an app sends you a payment reminder, every time you check your bank balance and mentally have to tally up which auto draft is coming out this week, every time you look at your checkout total and start calculating which card has room, that is a real, measurable tax on your cognitive resources. Your brain has a finite amount of decision-making energy per day, and when you're managing 14 different payment schedules across 6 different platforms, you are burning a significant portion of that mental fuel on debt maintenance. Here's what that means in practice. When you are mentally exhausted from managing the chaos of your own financial life, you make worse decisions. Studies on decision fatigue consistently show that people who are cognitively depleted are more likely to choose the path of least resistance, which, in a world that is constantly offering you frictionless ways to add new things to your financial plate, means you're more likely to open yet another buy now, pay later plan. The stress of your financial situation is literally making you more vulnerable to the product designed to make that situation worse. This is the trap feeding itself. So what do you actually do about it? Because validation is great, and I mean every word of it when I say the system is designed against you. But if you walk away from this video without a concrete plan, then I haven't done my job. So let's talk strategy. The first thing I want you to do this week, not this month, not when things slow down, this week is something called a complete debt inventory. Open a spreadsheet, grab a notebook, I don't care. But you need to get every single outstanding installment plan, every BNPL balance, every credit card balance, and every micro debt out of your head and on a paper where you can actually see it as a single number. Most people have never done this. Most people experience their debt as a vague, formless anxiety, a feeling that things are tight, that money is weird, that something isn't adding up. When you get it all into one place and look at the real total, it is confronting. I will not lie to you about that. It might actually make you feel worse before it makes you feel better. But here's the thing. You cannot fight an enemy you cannot see. Clarity, even painful clarity, is the foundation of every real financial turnaround. Step 2 is to treat consumer debt as a financial emergency. I want to be really direct about this. Consumer debt, the kind you accumulate buying things that lose value, is not a normal part of financial life that you just manage indefinitely. It is financial cancer. I use that word deliberately and carefully because the right response to cancer is not to manage it comfortably. The right response is to attack it aggressively with everything you have until it is gone. The tool I recommend for this is the debt avalanche method. Here's how it works. You list every single debt you have, from the highest interest rate to the lowest. You make the minimum payment on everything except the one at the top of the list, the highest interest rate debt. On that one, you throw every single extra dollar you can find, every skip coffee run, every side hustle dollar, every birthday check from grandma, all of it into that one target. When that debt is completely eliminated, you take the money you were putting into it and roll the entire amount onto the next debt on the list. Then the next. Then the next. This is called the avalanche because it builds its own momentum. The math on this approach will save you more money in interest than the snowball method, which targets the smallest balance first. If you're motivated by the psychological win of eliminating accounts, the snowball has merit. But if you want to maximize the dollars saved, the avalanche is the move. Step 3 is the one that reframes everything, and it is about shifting how you see your money. Every dollar you're currently funneling into a mandatory monthly payment, whether it's a Klarna installment for sneakers or an Affirm plan for a TV, is a dollar that is not working for you. It is a dollar being extracted from your financial future and handed to a company that, at its core, profits from the fact that you spent money you did not yet have. I want you to think about what that same dollar could be doing if it were invested instead. If Sarah, Our $52,000 a year Sarah, who is quietly losing $340 a month to installment plans. If she eliminated that debt and instead invested that $340 a month into a basic index fund with a historical average annual return of around 8 to 10%, here is what that looks like over time. In 10 years, she would have built roughly $62,000 to $70,000 in invested wealth, depending on returns. In 20 years, that number compounds to somewhere between $200,000 and $240,000. From $340 a month, money that she was already spending, money she already earned, just being recaptured and redirected from the pockets of microlenders into her own future. That is not a theoretical scenario. That is arithmetic. The wealth is already inside her income. The system just needed to stop intercepting it first. Step 4 is arguably the simplest and hardest one at the same time. Change your relationship with the checkout screen. When you see a buy now, pay later option, I want you to train yourself to recognize it immediately for what it is. It is not a feature. It is not a benefit to you. It is a revenue product built around your psychological vulnerabilities. Every time you see pay just $X today, translate it in your brain into the full price immediately. Say the number out loud if you have to. This is $150. And then ask yourself one honest question. If this product were priced in bold letters of the full amount, would I still be buying it right now, today, with the money I actually have? If the answer is no, then the installment plan is not making the purchase affordable. It is manufacturing a permission your real financial situation doesn't support. Here's what I want to leave you with, because this is the part that actually matters to me more than any of the math. Real wealth is not a number. It is not a savings account balance or a portfolio total or a credit score. Real wealth, at its core, is freedom. It is the freedom to say yes to opportunities because you have resources. It is the freedom to say no to a job that's slowly destroying you because you are not chained to a paycheck by the weight of monthly obligations. It is the freedom to sleep on a Tuesday night without lying awake, calculating which auto draft might overdraw your account on Thursday. That freedom is what the buy now, pay later machine is eating. Every time you add another installment plan to your financial life, you are not just spending money. You are selling a piece of your future choices. You are narrowing the range of decisions you get to make freely. You are handing over a little more of your piece to a company whose business model depends on keeping you in a cycle of managed debt rather than actual financial progress. I'm not saying this to make you feel guilty about the jacket or the earbuds or the concert tickets. Genuinely, I am not. Those things brought you real joy. That's real and it matters. What I am saying is that the way those purchases were structured was designed specifically to extract the maximum amount of money from you over time, while making the extraction feel invisible. You deserve better than invisible extraction. You deserve to look at your bank account and see it going in the right direction. You deserve to have a financial life that doesn't require constant mental triage. You deserve the kind of relationship with your own money where the concept of what I actually own versus what I owe doesn't make you feel sick. Getting there starts with one honest audit, one uncomfortable spreadsheet, one decision to stop feeding the system that's been quietly feeding on you. The financial industry is not going to send you a congratulations card when you cancel your installment plans and start building real wealth. The apps won't send you a push notification saying, "Great job reclaiming your cash flow." But your future self, the one who doesn't wake up stressed on the first of the month, the one who has options, the one who has choices, that version of you is going to look back on the moment you decided to stop playing the monthly payment game and recognize it for exactly what it was. The first real decision you ever made to actually get free. I'm Dan. I'll see you in the next one.